Sharian. High levels of radioactive substances are slowing emergency work at Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant. Tokyo Electric Power Company says a high concentration of radioactive material has been detected in accumulated water in the turbine building adjacent to the number 2 reactor.
At Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant on the 24th of March, that's this Thursday, in the basement of the turbine building of reactor number 3, 3 workers were irradiated. The levels in the turbine basement of reactor number 2 is 10,000-fold this concentration. Similar radiation levels were detected from puddles in reactor number 1. Tokyo Electric Power Company has checked the radiation levels of water puddle in reactor number 2, which was in operation at that time, and has detected 2.9 becquerels per cubic, 2.9 billion becquerels per cubic centimeter, which is 1,000 times that of reactor number 1 and number 3. This is on a per cubic centimeter basis. Radioactive iodine 134 is 2.9 billion becquerel, and radioactive iodine 131 is 13 million becquerels. As detected, cesium-137, cesium-134 were 2.3 million becquerels each. These are materials emitted during nuclear fission. Tokyo Electric Power Company believes that similar to reactor number 1 and 3, in reactor number 2, there is a breach in the reactor, prompting radiated water to seep out. TEPCO is rushing ahead to identify the leakage pathway. In areas around the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, south, 330 meters south of the drainage outlet of reactors number 1 through 4, what was detected was 1,250.8 times radioactive iodine 131, which is far beyond the nationally set limits. And in the same area, today, a dosage of 1,850.5 times of radioactive iodine 131 was detected. The regulators believe that there is a continuous leakage, and they are trying to identify the leakage pathway. The Nuclear Industrial Safety Agency has indicated that there is an evacuation order within a 20-kilometer radius of the plant, and has indicated that, seeing that the radius indicate there is a surge, with this data alone, there is no concern of immediate health hazards. And the Nuclear Industrial Safety Agency went on to say that, given the surveys conducted in 30 kilometers offshore, it is to be assumed that with time it will be diluted onto seawater.
We now have an analysis of the situation at the plant by Naoto Sekimura, professor at the University of Tokyo. Joining him is NHK World's Yoshiyuki Yamazaki.
Now, in the turbine building, we have now found 10 million times larger amounts of radiation, and compared to the water found in reactor number 3's turbine building, it's 1,000 times higher. Why do we have this highly radioactive water in reactor number 2 turbine building? Well, the turbine building of reactor number 2 held a very highly radioactive water. It may be that radioactive material that was inside the reactor could have leaked out. And as we analyze this, it seems that material with very short half-life has been found in reactor number 2. So what we can say from this is that the amount of radioactive material has been leaked out from the reactor to the basement of the turbine building. The Professor Sekimura, you said that this is because of the damage to the nuclear fuel. What does this mean? Well, nuclear fuel has a casing, a metal casing around it, and inside is the fuel. However, once the fuel material is damaged, especially volatile material may come out, and also these or gaseous material may come out. That is one thing that we can consider. So you have the casing around the drill, but there may be gaseous things leaking out. Yes, very minute particles could have been contained in the water as the water leaked outside. Now the leakage route, TEPCO has not been able to identify this yet, but from where could have this water come from? So first of all, we have, this is the reactor where the fuel lays, and somehow the radioactive material ended in the water that has been pooled in the turbine building basement. So the reactor here and the turbine building here, there are many pipes that connects the two. This picture only shows the very large pipes, but there are other pipes that run between the two buildings, and there may be some damage to one of those pipes. So that's something that needs to be surveyed. And for reactor number 2, there is the suppression pool, which is a part of the containment vessel. It is believed that for reactor number 2 there may be some damage to the suppression pool. And from here, water could be leaking out, or water here may contain highly radioactive material. So that is another thing that people need to consider. So the leakage route is not identified yet, but how do we try to solve this problem? Well, first of all, you need to find where the water is coming from, the source, and you have to deal with the source of the leakage. And on the other hand, if you look at the sea, and around the discharge outlet, we found a very high radioactive material. It was 12,050 times higher, but yesterday it went up to 1,850.5 times higher. And is there any connection between the radioactive material found in the turbine building and the seawater? Well, the water in the turbine building, did this leak out directly to the sea? We haven't been able to confirm this yet. So first of all, we need to look at where all this releases are coming from. The turbine building basement and the seawater, and in both cases you need to first of all identify the source of the radioactive material. Yes, that is right. Now, Mr. Yamasaki, TEPCO's dealing with this issue. How are they trying to solve this problem at hand? Once again, looking at this chart, you have this basement here from reactor number 1 through 3. You see water in all the turbine buildings, and also the radioactive level is very high. And with this high level of radioactivity, work cannot be carried out in the building. There are pumps and cooling systems, all kind of equipment that needs to be used for the cooling. And we need people on site there to work. So first and foremost, you need to contain the water somewhere where it would not affect the workers. And there is this condenser here, which is used to produce steam that works the turbine blades back to water. It's a very huge container, and so the contaminated water will be put into this condenser. That is one thing TEPCO is considering. They are now using pumps to pump up the water inside the condenser. But this also may be very hard work. Yes, because it's highly radioactive, and already in reactor number 3, 3 people have been exposed to this radiation, and work has been suspended. There are many troubles occurring at this reactor here, and so this problem is increasing the difficulty of working inside the buildings. So the government and TEPCO should assume that radiation can be leaking from all kinds of places and make sure that workers are not exposed to radiation, to manage the radiation level as work is carried out. Or without that, once again, if somebody is exposed to high radiation, work will be suspended. It means that work will be delayed again and again on site. So managing radiation, you should have someone on site. Well, there may be a lack of personnel who can do that, and I understand that the conditions are very harsh, but this is something that we cannot do. Therefore, we need to make sure that exposure level is managed as work to recover the systems there continue.
16 days have passed since the Great East Japan earthquake, and more than 10,000 people have been confirmed dead. The toll is expected to rise.